My loves, for the month of November, we are focused on the topic of business, which so very often can extend into being more creative and lucid and heart-centered in relationships and creativity in general. So stick around. Today, I'm talking about my Be Well business formula, paradigm, where I break down our approach, a more heart-centered approach to the whole concept of 10xing. If you don't know what 10xing is, stick around. I'm about to break it down. So glad you're here. My loves, we're going to talk about money today and being less obsessive about growth, specifically why I hit pause on obsessing about rapid financial growth in my business and otherwise. And by I hit pause, I mean with the wisdom of my small and mighty team, we hit pause. And I'm going to preview for you my Be Well business formula, which is really a heart-centered approach to 10xing. This is going to be a 2-part series because it's my birthday week and I'm feeling really just back in so many ways. I'll unpack what I mean when I say I'm back. I feel like I've been not fully on top of my game for like about 3 years. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Well, some of what I'm going to tell you about my business and not the distractions, definitely not been a distraction, but the intensity of effort it's required over the last couple of years will explain why I finally feel like I have time to put on some high heels and do some fun things. So this is part 1. And if you want to read this as opposed to listen, I don't know why. Maybe you want to do both. You can find me now on Substack, or just head to daniellelaporte.com/subscribe and we got you covered. Or if you're on the Substack app, I am the Danielle Laporte because somebody got my name, and you can read this, but just why don't you listen in right now? All right, now to open the kimono on my own business. So as I've indicated, we hit pause on, these are important words, obsessing about rapid financial growth. I'm still into financial growth, totally, but not as obsessy about the immediacy. And here's why. I adore bold goals. I wrote a big book, The Desire Map on Goal Setting, and I also adore velocity. The definition of velocity, by the way, is the shortest distance between 2 points. I learned that in my think tank days, and velocity is like my favorite thing. Who doesn't want velocity? Who doesn't want rapid, positive growth and results? 10xing is like a total turn on. Here's a quick definition of 10xing. So there's a book, 10x is easier than 2x. That's the title, written by my pal, Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. It's one of my favorite business books. I've been recommending it a lot over the last year or so. And it's about making the leap from accomplishing incremental goals, what they call 2x growth, versus rather than breakthrough goals or impossible goals. That would be 10x growth, 10 timesing your bottom line, etc. And then how I see it is this is about going from boring to quantum. I much prefer the quantum. 10x goals, what we often see at first glance as impossible goals, push us to question assumptions. And when you question assumptions and you shatter a few, you're going to think differently and you're going to behave more boldly. And as a result, you will, there's no if, you will magnetize greater outcomes if that's your new play. I mean, it's really about the metaphysical law that energy follows thought. Yeah, this is hermetic stuff. That's a whole other conversation, but this is key. At least in our business, this is key. 10xing is not just a cash number and a customer acquisition game. customers, followers, increasing all of that. It's qualitative. It's qualitative as much as it is quantitative. And Ben Hardy, 10x easier than 2x, does emphasize that. I want to pour some honey on that. For myself and my team, it's as much about enriching our offerings as it is about increasing profit margins. Either way, 10x is resoundingly a bold move. But, and this is my thesis, bold does not always look like we've been told it looks like, especially in business. I'm going to have to lean on some Krishnamurti here, who said, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society, girlfriend, boyfriend. So there's ego-centered boldness and there is heart-centered boldness. The former will create chaos. That is also a universal law. And the latter, heart-centered boldness, is what will heal the world, especially in business. So before I tell you why I've been pumping the brakes on obsessing about rapid financial growth, let me give you some backstory. A couple points. I want to 10x the quality of my life, my living, and the lives of my team. I feel honor bound to support the quality of their lives, right? When I started at all of this, all the things, the writing and the speaking, there was no Instagram. Can you believe that day? There was no Instagram 15 years ago. I have been writing and speaking, quote, influencing, before influencers were trying to figure out how to monetize their so-called influence. My next point, hopefully influential, is that I practice simplicity as a form of spirituality. It's a really intentional expression of spiritual devotion. So what does that mean? That means less material consumption and a more spacious calendar, like more room for spiritual things. My next point, and if you've been in my orbit for a while, you know this. I deeply believe that the number one priority for every human right now, this would include monks and new mamas, should be balancing our nervous system. Numero uno, balance your nervous system. As the collective unconscious, that shadow is it's coming up, it's flailing to become more conscious, to be seen by the light of love. Then physical and mental wellness are no longer like these bonus achievements. We get the partner and we get the salary and we get the house, and then we make sure like we're fit and well. No, physical and mental wellness are essentials now. They're actually like just base survival so that we can thrive, so that we can get out of survival mode. Okay, this is the next update. This is really specific towards what I'm going to unpack about the business. 24 months ago, I know I sound like a new mom. How old you, baby? 17 months. 24 months ago, I started to renovate my business. And I put it in months because 2 years makes it sound like a long time ago. But when you live in quarters and you're doing radical change, I'm thinking in terms of months. So I took my business from 16 people to 5. Now I could say 16 people down to 5, but really what it feels like, what it is like, is from 16 people up to 5. 5 magicians. And that has been a very big deal. There's new systems. There is a new tech stack. That is major when you have an online business that supports literally millions of people. New leadership, new leaders, new ways of leading. Out of the 16 people that were with me, one of them has been with me for the duration. They've been with me for 10 plus years, 14 years. Hello, Jen. And the rest of the team, the other 4 of us, are new. I streamlined my offerings with the support, the help, the genius of this genius team. And I'm focused now, kind of out of the closet, about just giving spiritual direction on all the things, on relationships and business. But I'm like, this is it. This is spiritually centric. All of these changes have created a new lifestyle for me. So I have space. I have space like I never had space. I have space to be an attentive wife, wifey-ish. I'm bringing small groups to Egypt now. I'm going to keep doing that every year. Next one will be September and October 2026. I can travel to see my kid who now lives in Montreal. My mom also lives in Montreal. I have time for my family. I do morning meditations. It's quite a long practice. My meditation isn't long, but I got lots of things to do to sound as clear and enlightened as I do now. And I do my yoga without a guilt trip. The guilt trip's from myself, although in the past it might have come from other people. Everything in my life now is deeper because I simplified my business. I built a team of agile possibility thinkers. I'm going to tell you more about my team in the next episode, the next issue. I'm going to break that down. But this is the essence of the team. We do not see obstacles. We only see doorways. We see la portes. Now you might be wondering why I pumped the brakes on how we can make more money more faster. I'm going to tell you now. After some very intoxicating, big vision, let's go for it, 10x jam sessions with my team, I quietly asked Dana. And by quietly, I mean I sent her a voice memo in Slack. Dana is our chief of staff. And I said, do you really think that we can 10x our revenue by the end of 2025? Do you really think we can 10x the money by the end of this year? And her response, I really didn't know what she was going to say. Her response was an immediate no. I loved it. Oh my God. I exhaled because I love sanity. I love the truth. I'm committed to the truth. I just want the truth. I can handle the truth. Then Dana said, but we will next year. So do you think we can really 10x revenue by the end of 2025? No, but we will next year, which is also sanity. Leadership is not about getting louder about bigger goals and just shouting at everyone to get better at believing you. I've seen it. I've done it. That is how you 10x your ego. And that is how you 10x anxiety, because ego loves anxiety. It's like it's gasoline. So I agreed with Dana, which is why I asked her, because I wasn't seeing it in this glossy, glamorous way of anything that's possible. The nervous system of the company, every organization, every system, every container has a nervous system. The nervous system of the business is inextricable from my own, and it has been very stretched over the last 2 years, which is a good thing. You want to stretch your nervous system. That's how it becomes more robust and more resilient, but you got to be wise about it. So after 2 years of really radical change, I really felt that we were in danger of overstretching, that we were going to pull a manifestation muscle if we pushed ourselves anymore. We actually needed to pace ourselves. We'd grown up, and now we needed to do the grown-up thing of working with time in a more conscious way. So my direction to Dana, chief of staff, and the team was, let's focus on our Be Well number this year and live good lives. And then we exhaled because we all love sanity. So what is our Be Well number? Our Be Well number is the minimum revenue that the business will earn for the team to be well. Minimum revenue for the team to be well. It's what we really need to earn in a fiscal year. It's simple math meets heart-centered leadership. Simpler way to put it, our Be Well number is break even plus 20 to 30%, and our version of success. So your break even should be somewhat obvious to you, though I think even that should be re-examined. Do not let your accountant, unless they're really fucking cool and creative, and I don't mean skeezy with numbers, I mean out of the box, holistic thinker. Don't let your bookkeeper, your accountant re-examine what your break even number should be. I mean, maybe they can help, but you really got to put your head and heart into this. And success must be defined on your own terms. I wrote a book about that, by the way, too. Firestarter Sessions. It has held the test of time. I would redesign that book. It's a little loud. It's a little bold with the Helvetica, but I'm interested in a multidimensional form of success. And by that, I mean all forms of abundance, deep abundance in my life, all forms, wellness, time, cash, laughter, abundance of all the good things, not just the measurable on a Excel sheet, good things. So here are the specifics. Here's our Be Well business guidelines that we outlined for ourselves for the year. You can make up your own or you can borrow mine. This is why I'm giving it to you. Number 1 on our list, everybody has got to be well paid. Doy. Number 2, the business has 6 months of operating money in the bank. That's ideal because peace, 9 months would be great. But right now, 6 months, even better. 3, the business is debt free. Don't owe anybody anything, no payables. Number 4, I want to ramp up our philanthropy this year. Kind of took a dip in this last 24 months of rebuilding. I want to really put my growing dollars where my heart is in additional ways. Number 5, no compromises on production value. Don't do that. We're not looking at how we can deliver less value. Our heart-centered collective are kin. We will just continue to be excellent with them. So no cutting corners with value to our people. Number 6, by year end, we need 2 more full-time people in order to grow our quality and our quantities, all the qualities and all the quantities. We're pretty sure that we need a full-time designer. Actually, we're very sure, 100%. We need a full-time graphic designer. And we need a tech director. So, yeah, those people, those geniuses. It could be a combo of freelancers, but we know our positions, our roles. Number 7, I'm going to write a new book and I'm going to tour it this fall. Woo! That's the first time I ever said that. I'm not going to tell you the title yet because just give me a minute. Okay. Last on our list for our Be Well business guidelines for the year, we will have a team retreat. Actually, in full disclosure, I don't know if we actually all settled on that as a team. I need to talk to Dana, chief of staff. But I want to have a team retreat somewhere schmance. And that has to be factored into our number. Okay, so I'm going to break down that formula for you more in a little bit. And you could go get the print version. You can get it in writing on my website, daniellelaporte.com, or my Substack, the Danielle Laporte. But let me tell you the benefits, okay? The benefits of our Be Well goal. And if you were reading this, you would see, I would love to put this in neon uppercase, bold, of course, Helvetica, with exclamation points, because I'm so joyful about this list. 7 benefits. We are relaxed. I could stop there. That's it. Inhale the relief, the power, and the beautiful magnitude of this with me. That I am relaxed, more relaxed than ever in my whole life, whilst still committed to more impact than ever and excellence than ever. And so are my team. We are relaxed people. Therefore, we think more clearly. Therefore, we are more creative, my favorite thing. Therefore, we laugh more. So good. Therefore, we have more weekends, exclamation point. We have better weekends. We have more of them. Sometimes we still, we got to launch, but we have more weekends. Therefore, we are more efficient, and therefore we are more profitable. Those are the 7 bold uppercase benefits of having a be well goal. A goal that is just like, we just have to make this much and then we're good. Yeah. When we hit our be well number, we're solid. That's all we have to do. My nervous system. Really? That's it? I don't have to do more. No, I don't have to do more. Team, you don't have to go faster. You don't have to do it longer. We nail this, which we will. So doable. And we relax and we keep growing. And we keep moving towards our 10x revenue gains happily, not like disconnected stress buckets of people. We're relaxed. We think more clearly. We're more creative. We laugh more. We have weekends. We're so much more efficient. We see where the solutions are. Oh my goodness. And we're more profitable. Happened not overnight, but I would say 30% increase in profitability happened within the first 3 months of getting sane. Okay, let me give you the formula for you doing a Be Well number. If you're not a reader and you're not going to go to my site or Substack, are you subscribing? Are you subscribing to my stuff? I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you must be. If you got forwarded this, come on. Okay, daniellelaporte.com/subscribe. Or grab a pencil. I prefer pencil. Are you a pen or a pencil person? I am a mechanical pencil person. I have the same one. And you know that feeling of terrorizing panic when you reach into your bag and you can't find your phone? Where'd I leave it? I feel the same way when I can't find my pencil. Anyway, here's your Be Well number formula. Number 1, forecast monthly expenses for the year based on current salaries and average monthly operating expenses. Be conservative about this. Like really be conservative. Just beef it up so you got wiggle room, okay? So what are your monthly expenses for the year? Add in the current salaries, average monthly op expenses. Okay. Number 2, you're going to add in anomalies for one-off expense surges that you are planning for. Expense surges. That's a Dana term. That's a money term. I got the money heart. I ain't got the money lingo. Add in anomalies for one-off expense surges like paid ad campaigns, in-person event costs, deposits for physical product orders like we had to do with our heart-centered day planners, new shoes that you need on stage, whatever it is. Okay. Number 3, you add the above, your monthly expense forecast and your one-off expenses, and then you get your baseline expenses. Okay, so do we have our baseline? Let's proceed to step number 4. Then you play with your dream stuff. So in an ideal world, I have some questions for you. Would you be hiring anyone new this year? Ideally. Don't go crazy like you need 5 personal assistants and a manicurist. We're just being well. We're not being diva, okay? You can be a be well diva later. First, you got to regulate your nervous system and that of your business. Next question. Would anyone on your team get a raise? I hope so. Or a bonus? Yeah, girlfriend. Bake that into the budget. You are getting to build this any way you want. Does the team do an in-person retreat somewhere awesome? Like, I want to meet in Italy and talk about my podcast and the Be Well number. Okay. Maybe I can do that next year. Are there any tech or wellness allowances for your team? Are you going to gift anybody a new laptop or treat them to massages? Bake that in. Are there any business loans or payables that you would like to clean up? Like, you don't have to clean them up. You can keep running that balance and paying your interest rates and people being patient, but you really just want it tidy this year. Okay. Will you give a percentage of monthly net revenue to philanthropy? I hope so. Net revenue. Okay. Will you take a percentage of monthly net revenue and put it aside to build 6 months of operating expenses? That would be wise. Might not be what you're up for this year because you might have to work harder in order to do that. This is your definition of success. So, this is the bottom line. You're going to take your baseline business expenses and add them with your dream considerations, and that is your Be Well number. So, it's not quite as simple as break even plus 20 to 30%. You got to think about this in terms of quality of life. Now, if your Be Well number doesn't feel achievable after you've done all your mathing, then you need to get busy refocusing your offering. What's your thing in your business? Can you simplify how you're delivering it, what you're delivering? You need to be looking at reducing your costs and your needs. And I would put needs in quotes because sometimes we think we need that full-time graphic designer and all you need is a good template and a style guide, What you might need if your Be Well number doesn't feel achievable is a very courageous stop doing list. I'm going to give you a stop doing list template and I'm going to show you our business's very extensive. You're probably going to be amazed. It's quite sexy. Very extensive stop doing list that we created over the last 24 months. I'm going to talk about that in the next episode of With Love, Danielle. Listen, my loves, lest you think I am slacking, lest you think I have put my crown down, we're still going to 10x our dollars over the next 3 years. We will. In some dimension that we are walking towards, we are stepping into a reality where we have 10 times our revenue, maybe even our profit, over the next 3 years. Duh. This is the actual bottom line. Be well and bold goals are not mutually exclusive terms. What's bold? What's bold is combining be well and bold goals into a business model within a society that is obsessed with productivity and money and speed. That's what's killing us. Every sector of society, every element of the ecosystem is our obsession with productivity, money, and speed. How about a different kind of bold? How about heart-centered 10xing? Where you combine be well and you exhale so that the bold goals can emerge, the right goals, and then what it takes to manifest those goals. Because I have been around longer than Instagram. And I now deeply, on a cellular level, understand that velocity has to account for nervous system regulation. Your nervous system regulation and that of the people who you lead. Otherwise, you are in for big meltdowns and very beat up bottom lines. What happens in the shortest distance between 2 points, that definition of velocity? Your life. Yeah. Why don't we take a deep breath right now? If you're in the space, you're in the space. Come on, let's heart center. Close your eyes if you can. Focus on your heart chakra, where all the transmutation happens. It's the apex of your body, of your beingness, of your life. Everything happens there, all the balancing. And become aware of that warm, unconditionally friendly, luminous quality in the center of your heart. That's it. That's where we be well. I'm going to shift gears. I know this business treatise was a little on the beefy, but I still want to tell you some extra fun lifey things. I'm starting a new little thing at the end of podcasts and writing called What's Working, What's Not Working, according to me. Because I still need an outlet. I need a place. I need a place for just the fun stuff that I talk to my girlfriends about, More of that to come. But here's a very micro dose of what's working and what's not working. What's working? Should I start this with what's not working? I don't know. Let's start with the positive first, I guess. Here goes. I'm really into face yoga now. Have you heard? Face yoga is the new Botox, and Botox is I am super into the face yoga. So my favorite ladies to follow on Instagram, and I have checked them all out. I have purchased the courses. I've followed at least a dozen, and these are the ones that I just love their energy. They're kind. They're not scaring you into sagging face terror. They're lovely. They're lovely women. So one of them is Trin George. So you spell that. This is her Instagram handle. TRIN, Trin, HGEORG. Trin with an H. TRINHGEORG. And the other woman is face.fitness.club. Face.fitness.club. And I've created a little face yoga favorites folder in my my little saved profile on Instagram, just the private thing you have. And I have my favorite exercises in there. I'm working on the eyebrows. I'm just working it. I love it. Okay. And this works. This works for me. This quote from Miles Davis. Anybody can play. The note is only 20%. The attitude of the motherfucker who plays it is 80%. Okay, let's talk about what's not working. I've been learning a lot more. Been into this research for a while. Microplastics in, you ready? This sad face, gum, and also sad face, Ziploc bags. I feel kind of chagrined that I haven't been thinking more about Ziploc bags in my life, but I am now. So I wasn't a gum chewer until recently because I'm doing a diet, which I'm really happy about because I'm healthy, and I'll explain later. I promise. I actually prefer the word shed. I've shed 17 pounds, and my treat, because it's not full of chocolate croissants, although I did eat 2 panier au chocolat in Paris recently, a day. Sugar-free gum has been my treat on this diet. It's not as pathetic as it sounds, trust me. I'm not depriving myself, but the gum, it might be shooting plastic particles into my microbiome. So we're going to hard pause on the gum, and I will just cope. Also, the news has broken that the Ziploc bag makers knowingly have been withholding evidence that microwaved and frozen bags emit plastics into food. Now, of course they do. First of all, I haven't used a microwave, a nuclear device in my kitchen for like over a decade. I take them out of everywhere I live. We're done with those. But I do love my Zippies for food and things, and I've been kind of dense around that. And I'm phasing it out. Like, I go into a restaurant, and would everybody do this with me? Let's start a revolution. When you go into a restaurant or cafe and you ask for a tea, ask them, and some of them will be mystified. But since I'm starting a revolution on this, it will happen less and less so. Ask your server if their tea comes in plastic bags or in paper bags. And a lot of them won't know the answer. A lot of them, this has happened to me, they hold up the tea bag, which is plastic, and they say, I don't know. They can't tell that little microfiber plastic gizmo is actually plastic. When it's clear that it's plastic, or they know the answer, then you say, I'll pass. And because you want something warm and cozy, you have a lemon hot water. And if it's a paper tea bag, then you kiss them. Anyway, I'm the kind of person who I go into cafes and restaurants and I ask that question, but I didn't put my Ziploc bags together with that because they're such a part of my life. I reuse them. I probably have Ziploc bags 15 years, which is extra gross because they're decomposing. I got to phase those fucking things out. I'm going to look for an alternative. Like, I could probably be wrapping things more in waxed fabric. I do have some of that. I would wrap my kids' lunches in wax fabric. I don't know, wooden crates. I'm going to figure it out, but the Ziplocs got to go, especially the ones I've been using and reusing for the 15 years. So stay tuned on more reports from Plastic Free Me and from Be Well Me and 10X Me and all of us. Come back next week to read or to listen. I'm going to talk more about my business's stop doing list, what's working and what's not working. And then I think in coming times, I have things to tell you about how to know if what Isis tells you when you're standing in her temple in Egypt, or what your guides tell you. How do you know if that is actually Isis? If that is actually the divine piping in hot directions to you? I have some thoughts on this and thoughts on so much more, which I pray is relevant. Always, always, always with love. Danielle. Thank you so much for listening, for feeling, for spreading the word. With love.